and good afternoon. It is time for our regular Friday Lunch and Learn with me, Dr. Polly Heil-Mealey, and I'm so glad that you have joined us today. Now we're going to be talking about electromagnetic fields and human health. So this is kind of going to be all over the place. I don't really have a script here, and I'm trying to coordinate a lot of different things, and so this might be a two-part video because there are just so many things that I want to talk about. So I've got an article that's entitled Electromagnetism and Health. And then when I said I was going to be talking about this, someone said, "Are you going to be talking about the Schumann wave?" And I thought, well, that's part of it for sure. I had not necessarily intended to do that, but as I was putting this together, I thought, well, yeah, that might be a good place to start, because a lot of people don't even know about the Schumann wave, don't understand what it is, have never heard of it. And so I thought I would just kind of talk to you about that a little bit. And then I want to talk about the microglia in the brain and how that keeps us healthy. So depending on how far we get today, I don't really know. We may have to do this in two parts. But I do want to start off with resonance. What is resonance? Okay. And the definition that we're going to be using today is, it is defined as the frequency at which an object most naturally wants to vibrate. Now, if you remember your 9th grade science class, it probably was a physical science class, and they talked about matter, they talked about atoms, and they talked about how atoms are always moving, and everything else, everything in the world is made up of atoms. Most of the things that we can see are made up of atoms, and the atoms are continually moving, and so there is nothing in the universe that is actually static. Now, that was really hard for me to understand whenever I was in 9th grade science, because I look at my table and it's glass and it looks static, right? But we know that we've got electron energy, we've got proton energy, we've got electromagnetic energy. And so all of this works on the body and it works on the brain. Now, what is the problem is that we humans, with our technology, our microwaves, our radio waves, our television waves, and then now we've got all of the high frequency, your 5G and whatnot, and it causes all kinds of issues. And so I want to kind of bring all of this into some kind of a balance so that we can understand. I appreciate you guys tuning in, because this is going to be kind of complicated. I'm going to try not to speak of it in scientific language, because that's going to be just a little bit difficult to understand. But what I want you to understand is that what we do here in the clinic is we measure your frequencies. And so your different body organs resonate at different frequencies. Sound is a frequency. And so one of the things that I want to talk to you about is how your body is in tune with different musical notes. So hopefully we'll get to that, okay? So we're going to go back to the frequencies, okay? So the Schumann wave is known as the Earth's frequencies, and it is affected by thunderstorms. It is affected by solar flares. It is affected by when the sun throws off particles, okay? All of that energy affects the Schumann wave. And the Schumann wave is the frequency of the way the Earth, it is the frequency of the Earth. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. The wave, it's approximately 7.83 hertz, which is a really, really low vibrational frequency, okay? There are other frequencies in the wave: 14, 20, 26, 33, 39, and 45 hertz. So the Schumann wave is actually pretty low, okay? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about resonance so you can kind of get that in your head, and then we're going to talk about how we relate to each other, how we're in tune or not in tune with each other, because as you learn how to do this and as you learn how to recognize this, you're going to be more healthy, okay? So I want you to just kind of bear with me on here, okay? So it says here, we're talking about what you are in resonance with. What are you vibrating with? An example of a coherent system is that one object may set another object in motion if it shares the same resonant frequency. So if, for example, you strike a tuning fork of 100 cycles per second and bring it near a second tuning fork of that same frequency, the second tuning fork will start to vibrate in agreement with the first tuning fork, even though you don't even hit it, you don't even do anything with it, because it's tuned to the same frequency. If one of the tuning forks is vibrating, it's going to automatically set off the other one. Because why? Because they're tuned to the same thing. So if we are tuned to the Earth's frequency, you may have heard of the term called grounding. Grounding puts you in tune with the Earth's vibrational frequencies. And if you are in tune with those frequencies, then you're going to be much better, you're going to be much healthier, and that kind of thing. So that's really, really important, okay? Even though the second tuning fork had not been struck, it will begin to vibrate and radiate a sound merely because it is in the same field as the vibrating tuning fork. So this is something, if you've been watching my posts this week, I've been talking about your vibe connects your tribe, I think is what the post said. And so whatever frequency you're vibrating on, you're going to attract people that vibrate on that same frequency, okay? You're going to repel people that vibrate at a different frequency. And so we all want to be in agreement with the Earth. We all want to be in concert with the Earth, because when we are, there's a lot of harmony. And so in our world right now, we know that there is not a lot of harmony, and it is because we are not in sync with the Earth's atmosphere. We're not in sync with that Schumann wave, okay? So the question is, are we able to tune into the Schumann resonance? And the answer is that our brains, okay, possess, and this is a German word, and I hope I say it right, Zeitgeber, which translates literally to time givers and refers to the external agents or events that provide signals, in this case, the Schumann resonance. These external signals help the human biological system to become synchronized with the daily rhythmic cycles of the Earth. Okay, so when you are out of alignment with the Schumann wave, then this is what's going to happen. You're going to have altered blood pressure, so your blood pressure is not going to be in sync. Your reproductive immune systems, your cardiac, and your neurological systems will begin to have problems, all right? Mental disorders, depression, and suicide. And don't we know, you just have to read the news and what some people are doing. We know we've got some mental disorders out there, okay? We know we have people that are not in agreement. They're not cycling in agreement with the way the Earth is vibrating. There are increased hospital admissions, accidents, and sudden death, as well as countless other stress-related conditions. And we know that everybody right now is in a stressful situation, not only because of COVID, but because of loss of job, loss of income. The children aren't going back to school. The parents can't go back to work. So the whole Earth is off, okay? I'm not saying that the Schumann wave is particularly off, but just the way people are reacting in the Earth is off. And everybody is irritable. Everybody is irritated. And so you know when you're irritated, you're not in alignment with the Earth. Now, I want to kind of segue a little bit to the brain. I want to show you a couple of things. You may have seen this if you've seen our heart rate variability monitor. When you come in and we do that with you, what it does is it's checking the R intervals of your heart. And so the more flexible your heart is, the more variant those flexibilities are, then the better shape your heart is in. But when we do the heart rate variability, we're going to be measuring over 600 different algorithms in the brain and in the body. And one of the things that we're doing is we're looking at this right here, and you can see you've got red, yellow, green, blue, and then orange over here at the edge. And so these are the different brain waves, okay? And your brain waves are normally listed as theta, theta, alpha, beta, and high beta, or maybe gamma, depending on what you're using, what chart you're using. So when we do a HRV analysis on you, we're going to be, as part of what we're measuring, we're going to be measuring your brain waves. Now, why is this important? I'm going to get to that. This is important because all of those different brain waves are in concert with the Schumann wave, okay? The Schumann wave is what we have to vibrate with if we're going to be healthy and if our brain is going to be healthy. So your delta waves, these are the waves that you're getting in your brain when you are in a deep, dreamless sleep or when you are unconscious, okay? Don't want you to be unconscious because somebody hit you on the head, right? This is a state of being. It's part of the Schumann wave. It's 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz. So it's really, really a low frequency there, okay? Your theta waves, this is when we are awake, okay? But we're also open to mental imagery. So this is like your twilight. You're just about to fall asleep or you're just about to wake up, okay? This is your theta brain waves, and it's 4 hertz to 7 hertz. All right, it has been associated with creativity, intuition, daydreaming, and fantasizing, all right? Believed to reflect the activity from the limbic system. Now, the limbic system is your emotional system, and increased activity is observed in anxiety, behavior activation, and inhibition. Now, this is really, really important because when you are in theta is when you get revelation. So we all know this. We have a problem. We lay down, we go to sleep, we wake up, boom, we've got the answer. Why is that? Because in that twilight sleep, we're in that right frequency for the creativity to come up, where if you're a hypnotist, you're going to say the subconscious revealed it to you. If you're a Christian, you're going to say the Holy Spirit revealed it to you. If you're a different persuasion, you just might think, I slept on it and I came up with the right answer. And whatever way you describe it, you're right. Okay, we want to be able to be in concert with that Schumann wave so that we have that creativity, we have that innovation, we have that problem solving that just kind of comes to us because we're vibrating, our brain is vibrating at that right frequency. Now the alpha wave, okay, this is 8 hertz to 12 hertz, and this is when you are really alert. It is where a lot of your creativity comes out, all right? It shows that it says, this is when we are in the normal, relaxed adult state, okay? It is present during most of life. It is considered a common state of alertness, but not necessarily actively processing information. Alpha has been linked to creativity. Creativity people show alpha when listening and coming to a solution and with mental work. So when you're problem solving, you're in your alpha phase, okay? Alpha activity is also associated with overall mental and body-mind coordination, calmness, alert, and learning. Now, I call this mindfulness. So when you are aware, when you're able to process, you're not necessarily problem solving, but you're just taking it in. You're aware, you're mindful. This is the normal alpha state, okay, and this is where we want to be. Now, beta is 12 hertz to 30 hertz, and beta reflects high active processing. It occurs during the normal waking consciousness and outward attention. This is when you are problem solving. Slow beta is 12 to 17 hertz. This is normal information processing and mental activity. Fast beta, 17 to 30, is highlighted alertness, fight or flight, and or anxiety. So you want to make sure that when you are in your beta brain waves, you want to be in the slow beta, not the fast beta, because you don't want to be in an anxiety situation, all right? So what you need to take away from this is when you find yourself being anxious, then you want to slow everything down. You want to key in to what you need to be mindful of, not stress over things that you cannot control. All right, what can we not control? We cannot control the weather. We cannot control what the government is doing, except we do want you to vote, so go on and vote. We cannot necessarily determine or control what other people are doing. We can control how we respond to it. So we always want to stay in that low beta phase so that we're able to respond in a proper way without things getting out of hand, okay? And then the gamma, or the high beta, depending on how you want to call that, that is 30 hertz to 100 hertz, much, much higher, all right? This is associated with waking states and can occur when we are simultaneously processing information in both brain hemispheres. So this is multitasking. Interesting that whales and dolphins also operate at these frequencies. So these are higher frequencies. They're still low. We've got all kinds of technology here in the clinic that will raise your vibrational rate. A person that vibrates at a high level will be very immune to sickness and disease. A person that vibrates at a very, very low level, right? The cell, we're talking about at the cell. We're not talking about the brain right now. We're talking about the cell. If the cell is not vibrating at the correct frequency, then the cell is going to be very opportunistic for sickness and disease and infections and that kind of thing. And so I wanted to talk about this because the brain is where a lot of your immunity comes from. And if your brain is not functioning at the right level, the microglia are not functioning at the right level, then you've got a problem. And so this is something that not a lot of people are paying attention to because we are surrounded by electromagnetic smog. Okay, these are other frequencies that we are not supposed to be bombarding our bodies with. And when these frequencies do come in contact with our bodies, it actually changes what's going on at the cellular level. So we want to understand what the Schumann wave is. We want to align ourselves with that, practice good sleep hygiene, practice good Wi-Fi hygiene, all that kind of stuff. So we stop these frequencies coming in that's going to upset us and upset the way our bodies process. So that's very, very, very important. So again, if we are not in concert with the Schumann wave, which is the resonance that the earth resonates with, we're going to have immune problems, we're going to have cardiovascular problems, we're going to have emotional issues, and high blood pressure, sudden deaths. I mean, just sudden deaths, and we don't want to do that. So that's really, really important. So there's some diagrams. I don't know if you can see this, but this is from a NASA website, and it shows the Earth, and it shows the Schumann wave here. It shows the different frequencies here. So what changes the Schumann wave, or what changes the atmospheric conditions? Well, you know when a thunderstorm comes through, you go outside and it just smells electric, or it can just smell really fresh, right? That's because it has changed that wave. We've got more negative electron energy, right? And so it has absolutely shifted things. And so there's been all kinds of experiments that talk about what happens to people when there are a lot of solar flares, when there's a lot of solar activity. And I think that happens on a regular schedule of every 11 years, okay? So this is something that's really, really important. This is why grounding is important. This is why protecting yourself from electromagnetic frequencies is important, and this is why it is important to make sure that when we're working with devices, we're working with devices with no impediment. Now, I've talked before, I have written a blog before about these watches. Mine, well, I've got a couple of bands on here, but my watch is the old-fashioned, you wind it up watch. It doesn't even have a battery, okay? You have to wind it up. I don't have a smart watch. I don't have an electronic watch. You know why? Because that electromagnetic frequency on my skin is not good for my body. It's not healthy for my body. We've done videos on this. I've written a blog on this. It actually changes the way your body resonates. And so that's something that some people may be able to tolerate, some people may not be able to tolerate. We've got a lady that comes in here in the clinic, and she's very, very sensitive to EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. So whenever she's in a building with Wi-Fi, it hurts her head, it hurts her ears, she breaks out all over her skin, and she's very, very irritable. Okay, she's very, very sensitive to that. So that means she's not vibrating at the right frequency. We've got a lot of different products. If you do equal parts spirulina and bee pollen, right, that will put you back where you need to be in the right frequency. And so that's something that, if that's something that bothers you, the Wi-Fi and that kind of thing, I wear in the left side of my bra, I wear a black diode disc that absorbs electromagnetic energy. I do that because why? Because I'm in a building, I have a computer, I've got my cell phone, I've got all kinds of things around that is Wi-Fi. And we've got now smart meters outside, and we've got the 5G and all that kind of stuff. And I want to protect myself, so I wear a cloaking device so that it stops that negative energy that's coming into me. Now, I'm not necessarily sensitive to it that I know of, but over time, you build up and build up and build up, and so you're going to have some toxic issues. Now, I didn't bring my report in today, but I do have a report. You know, we've been talking about our hair DNA testing that we do for your immune response and your gut response, just to see where you are in that. Well, I did this report a couple of months ago, and I do green drink every day. I do spirulina. I do spinach and wheatgrass and all that kind of good stuff, okay? So I know that I'm really grounded, I'm taking in the right energy, I'm doing all that I need to do. But on my report, it shows that I have a high level of electromagnetic stress. And it's like, how can that be? Well, how that can be is that if you'll look outside our building, we've got all kinds of transformers, and I think we've got 5G now and all that kind of stuff. And so it has the potential to affect me at the biological level, and I don't want that to happen, because why? When that happens, my brain gets off and my microglia doesn't work. And if my microglia doesn't work, then I'm not going to be healthy. So I hope you're able to take those little bullet points and do whatever you need to do so that you can be healthy. Now, we've got some things that I do. This is a product. It is a homeopathic product, and in here is the frequency for what? The Schumann wave. And so if you have a problem, and who doesn't these days, with electromagnetic energy and how it's combating your field, then you're going to need to do something like that. So we've got the metabolic tops, we've got the spirulina and the bee pollen. You want to do 50-50. And we also have, and this is my newest little toy, okay, I talked a little bit about this on the Tuesday testimonial, but this is called a Heil-Mealey, H-E-A-L-Y. So this is a personal resonance tool, and I love this because this really helps me here in the clinic. We've got another tool. It's called a Wellness Pro. The Wellness Pro, you've got little stickers you can put on your body, and you've got some little cylinders that you hold. Some people say it's a TENS unit. It's way, way above the TENS unit because you can program all the different frequencies. Remember, the Schumann wave is really, really low, but you can program up to 10,000 hertz. Okay, you don't even feel it. You just do not feel any vibrations at all, because that's just higher than we can feel, but it really pushes energy into the cell, and so it brings healing. So we've got that. That is a tool that I use if, for example, you say, Dr. Polly, I've got vertigo, I am all dizzy, blah, 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 blah. Great, I've got a program for that. I push that program in, I let you hold those cylinders. I think it takes about 20 minutes. Boom, the vertigo goes away, and you're good to go. And that's a good tool to have. This tool is a different tool because this tool tells me what frequencies I am missing or where I am out of alignment, and it gives me those frequencies. So it's really, really smart. It's got a quantum something or another in there that it works on an app on your phone, and it reads my vibrational energy, and it tells me you are low in this, you are low in this, you are low in this, but you're high in this, and we need to recalibrate that. Very, very scientific. But you know what? We use it as a balancing tool here in the clinic. It's expensive. It's got a lot of different bells and whistles that we use, but you can get one of these. Not overly expensive. It's expensive, not overly expensive. I think it's about $800, right? What we can do, if you have one and you don't live close to me, I've got a tool on my phone that I can reach out. If you have one of these, I can do an assessment. I can tell you what you're missing. I can tell you what nutrients you're missing. I can tell you what vibrational frequencies you're missing. And you can turn on your little device. It connects right to me through the cloud. And I can download the frequencies that you need, and you can attach this to your body, and it will realign your frequencies, which is absolutely fantastic, because healing happens when your frequencies are coherent. Healing happens when you are not missing frequencies. Now, how do we miss frequencies? We miss frequencies by being out of alignment with the Schumann wave. We miss frequencies when we eat fast food, overly processed food, genetically modified food, okay? We mess up our frequencies when we have tattoos. Sorry, I hate to say that, but that poking the needle in the skin, it messes up your frequency. So I just want to kind of segue here. 5G, okay? 5G is all over the place. Your little hairs on your skin, when that 5G is in your field, it causes each one of those little hairs to be a little antenna, and it conducts that energy into the body. When you're poking yourself and you're inserting dye into your skin, it messes up your frequencies, all right? I don't care if you do it. If you do it, you just need to know what you're doing, okay? It causes your liver to have to work hard. This is why tattoos fade, because it's trying to get all that stuff out of the skin. So anything you do to your body, right? Too many drugs, too much alcohol, too much, as I said, processed food, coloring your hair too much, doing your nails too much. All these things mess up your frequency. And so if you have a personal device that you can go in and undo that damage, let me tell you, I already tell you, I'm vain. I'm going to keep doing my hair. I'm going to keep doing my nails. I'm going to keep wearing makeup, right? I'm just going to keep doing that. But I know as I get older, I've got that accumulated stress of doing that year after year. And so I have to be more intentional to keep my vibrations where they need to be, because if my body is vibrating appropriately, then my brain is going to be working appropriately, and the microglia are going to do what they need to do with my immune system. And that's really where I wanted to go today. And my time is just about up. So we'll continue this discussion next week about the microglia and your immune system, and how your microglia in the brain work to keep your immune system doing what your immune system needs to do. So I hope you followed so far. If you've got a question, if something is not clear, go ahead and pop the comment in the box. I'll get back to you. If you want to know more about this, ask me. I'll tell you about this. Like I say, we use this in the clinic. I use it personally every day, and I can tell when I don't use it. So it's very, very powerful, and it's a good investment for you, for your health, especially if you live far from me and you want me to help you with your health. This is a really good way for me to be able to do that. So it is the weekend. I've used up all of my minutes talking to you about these frequencies, but I'll talk to you next week about the microglia in your brain and how we can make sure that that works appropriately. Have a great weekend. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.